Hey, hello again, everybody. Hey, this is Guy Newcomb here on the Missouri Sports Network. Hey, another day, another dollar. And you know what day it is? Dateline, Wednesday, November the 20th. And this is episode number 32. And yes, I said 32. So if you're not ready for this on Wednesday, you may be that guy that goes to watches Titanic and can't believe it sank at the end of every time you watch it. It always happens. Hey, we're here every Wednesday. And a reminder that you're watching the original and at this point, the only Where Are They Now Wednesday. Hey, don't be fooled by the Johnny Come Latelys or some other imposter. Playing on Sports and the Missouri Sports Network are your sources for what Missouri high school talent does when they get to the national stage of the NCAA. No one, and I mean no one, has more information for you than we do. We appreciate your attention and your loyalty. And do me a favor. Hey, go to our Facebook page and give us a like, and go to YouTube and subscribe. That way you'll become aware every time we go live, and we go live several times throughout the week. Whether it be morning update, whether it be huddle up, whether it be Where Are They Now Wednesdays, high school game day, and the Friday night football scoreboard show, which there are 4 left as we approach the end here of the fall season at the high school level. And we bring in now from Playing on Sports the brains behind Where Are They Now Wednesday, Mr. Kent Mueller. What is going on?
Well, I tell you, we have a lot of information for everybody this morning, and it's a continuation somewhat of what we have been doing. We're recognizing people, the local athletes playing in college, those that are earning some major awards. And last week, we reviewed Missouri women who have achieved all-conference status while competing in the NCAA. We also noted those honored as a Player of the Year. That was a continuation from the week before. Yes, there are that many of them. That has taken the better part of 2 shows. We aren't done with them yet. We will ensure that all of those who have played on and have produced such stellar accomplishments will be recognized for their achievements on this show. However, this week we will pause to recognize those same accomplishments by the Missouri men who have played on into the NCAA. Today, we have 26 Missourians who, by their collegiate conferences, have been recognized to be among the best. Plus, we have a Player of the Year. Next week, we will wrap up the honors bestowed upon the women soccer players. Plus, we'll have more things for you also. Now, let's take a break from one of our sponsors.
I'll have the avocado toast minus the avocado.
So, toast.
Yeah. Everything is so expensive these days.
Hey, Chevy gets it. That's why they're keeping prices down to earth, like on the most affordable EV in America. A super strong and capable Chevy truck. And a high-tech Chevy SUV. Why is Chevy making affordable vehicles connected by OnStar? It's so together, we can do more.
We believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Hey, welcome back to Where Are They Now Wednesday on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Kent, let's kick the tires and light the fires to get going with the men's soccer honors.
All right. So there are a lot of Missourians that occupy spots on NCAA men's soccer rosters. This year, there are 370 of them. They play at 96 colleges and universities, which are members of 41 conferences spread out coast to coast. And bringing it back home to Missouri, those men's soccer players come from 129 high schools. The regular season is now over for the men's soccer, and the conferences have spoken. And they have said that one Missourian is a conference player of the year, while 26 have been awarded spots on all conference teams. Mason Crew, he's a senior midfielder out of Rockwood Summit. He's playing his college ball at Maryville University in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Mason is a Great Lakes Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Year. He is also a member of the conference all-conference first team. Mason is the first men's soccer player from Maryville University to win the Conference Offensive Player of the Year award. He logged 1,221 minutes in the 19 matches. No one had more points than Mason, as he accumulated 18 throughout the season. He had the second most game-winning goals, was fourth with 6 assists, and his 19 shots on goal were the 6th most in the conference. Jensen Mueller is a fifth-year player. He's a defender out of Parkway West, playing at the University of Indiana in the Big Ten Conference. And Jensen is Big Ten Conference second team. Jensen has been a fixture on the Hoosier backline since his freshman year, having appeared in 75 games. This year, he also added 4 assists. Luke Laughlin is a senior midfielder. He's out of Westminster Christian Academy. He's playing his college ball at Covenant College, which is in the Collegiate Conference of the South. Luke is Collegiate Conference of the South first team. The former first team All-State player competed in 70 matches throughout his 4-year career at Covenant. He scored 11 points this year from his midfielder position by scoring 5 goals and making 1 assist. He was 1 for 1 in penalty kicks. Jeremiah Johnson is a senior defender out of Rock Bridge. He plays at Fort Hays State in the Great American Conference. And I'll just point out, people will say, Great American Conference? Why, Fort Hays State is in the Mid-America Intercollegiate Athletic Association. But not for men's soccer. There are only a couple of teams that are in the normal MIAA standings that have men's soccer. So Fort Hays State, they play their men's soccer in the Great American Conference. And Jeremiah is on the Great America Conference second team. After starting out at Florida Memorial University, Jeremiah found a home on the back line at Fort Hays State. He started 19 of the 19 matches, scoring 10 points with his 4 goals and 2 assists. One of his goals was a game winner. Brian Basinger, he's a senior midfielder out of North County. He plays at Loras College in the American Rivers Conference. Brian is American Rivers Conference first team. He started all 21 matches this year and played an incredible 1,705 minutes. That is over 81 minutes per game. And from the midfielder position, where he would wind up anywhere on the entire length of the field. He scored 18 points, 14 of them from 7 goals, and he made 4 assists. 2 of his goals were game winners. And we have Aiden Lacey. He's a sophomore forward. He played his high school ball at Pembroke Hill, and he's now at Haverford College in the Centennial Conference. Aiden is Centennial Conference honorable mention. He started 17 of the 18 games this year. Aiden scored 5 points from his 1 goal and 3 assists. His goal was the game winner against Farmingdale State in Haverford's 1-0 win. The guy, tell everyone what we were doing last Friday evening.
Well, we were flying the desk, as we do every Friday evening with the high school football scoreboard show. It was a live show, starts at 9:30, but you were kind enough to step in and kind of help track down some scores and read some scores, and as was Alan Hilliard from Allen Hilliard Sports, which kind of freed me up a little bit. I enjoyed the show because I wasn't as frantic as I usually am, trying to read scores, track down scores, and set up coaches' interviews. Had a great night had 7 coaches come on the show from around the state, and it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Only had 56 games. There's 28 games this weekend, but 56 games, and we had them all by the end of the evening.
Well, that's great. I had a great time, but we're moving on to the next round of the playoffs. How will it work this week for the fans to check in with us when most of the games are being played on Saturday?
Yeah, there's just 10 games on Friday night, 18 games on Saturday. We will still go on the air at 9:30. And obviously, with just 10 games, it won't take us very long to get through them and maybe try and catch up with, maybe half of those coaches. And then, hey, if we need to get off the air early, we'll get off the air early. And then our thoughts are right now on Saturday, and we'll let everybody know this for sure on Friday evening, are to go live at 7 p.m. on Saturday, as everyone is kind of heading out. Their games, most of the games will be finalized by 4 p.m. Most of the games start at 1. There is, I think, 1 noon start and a couple of 2 o'clock starts, but 15 of those games will start at 1. So we thought we'd go live around 7 o'clock and get those scores out. And something else? Friday night we may start covering a little bit of basketball, because high school girls and boys basketball games will be going on Friday night as well, and we may do a segment there just on some of the scores that are coming in Friday night. I know, for example, Bolivar is playing Friday night at home against Clinton. Bolivar actually has Jamboree tonight, and I know a lot of those Jamborees are taking place tonight and Thursday night throughout the state. So we're kind of in that mode where we're kind of switching over from football, or fall, so to speak, into the winter sports, and we've got the Final Four in soccer that begins today. So we may update some of those as well and try and catch up with some of those coaches.
Yeah, and by Friday night, I will have 1 foot firmly in football and 1 foot firmly in basketball, because by the time we go on the air Friday night, I will have already announced 1 high school basketball game. I'll be doing that at the Barstow School Friday night. So I'm looking forward to continuing football, but I'm also looking forward to enjoying some good basketball. Now back to some what our local athletes are doing in the NCAA. There's Carson Morgan. He's a junior defender out of Springfield Catholic. He's now at Drury University in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Carson is Great Lakes Valley Conference first team. After playing in 18 games his first 2 years, Carson started all 17 matches in which he played this year, locking the second most minutes played on the team. He took off as a starter, scoring 14 points with his 7 goals, and one of his goals was a game winner. John Campbell is a senior midfielder. He's out of Webster Groves. He's playing at the University of Missouri at St. Louis in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. John is Great Lakes Valley Conference second team. After playing his first 3 years of his collegiate career at Lindenwood, John had a great year at Missouri St. Louis. He led his team with 18 points, which came from 9 goals scored. 3 of his goals were game winners, and he was a perfect 4 for 4 in penalty kicks. Ryder Barrett, he's a junior defender out of Rockhurst High, playing at Drake University in the Missouri Valley Conference. Ryder is Missouri Valley Conference second team. He has made his transition from Missouri high school soccer to Drake Bulldog soccer quite seamlessly. After being named the Missouri Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year at Rockhurst, he went on to be placed on the Missouri Valley Conference all-freshman team. After having started every game for his 3 years in Des Moines, he is now the conference second team member. Harrison Engel is a freshman defender out of MICDS. He is playing at DePauw University in the North Coast Athletic Conference. Harrison is North Coast Athletic Conference third team. He didn't hesitate when he arrived in Greencastle, Indiana. Harrison started 19 games as a freshman. As a defender, he stepped forward and scored 8 points by scoring 4 goals. I've had the opportunity to be on the DePauw campus for a football game. Their separate soccer facilities are quite impressive. DePauw has very nice athletic facilities. Ethan Blake is a senior forward out of Jefferson City. He plays at Lindenwood, which is in the Ohio Valley Conference. Ethan is Ohio Valley Conference first team. He spent the first 2 years of his collegiate career at Columbia College. Ethan stepped right up upon arrival last year, starting 13 of the 19 games in which he appeared. This year, he led his Lions with 25 points with his 8 goals and 9 assists, while also leading Lindenwood in minutes played. 4 of his goals were game winners. Cameron Caldwell is a graduate student defender at Park Hill South. He is playing at Lindenwood in the Ohio Valley Conference. Cameron is Ohio Valley Conference second team. After 3 seasons at Maryville University, Cameron moved across town to Lindenwood. 19 of 20 games last year as a senior and 16 of 20 this season. He was credited with 2 assists on his way to second team honors. John Gates is a senior midfielder, a former John Burroughs Bomber. He is now at Lindenwood in the Ohio Valley Conference. John is Ohio Valley Conference second team, in addition to being an all-newcomer team honoree. That means you need to pay attention and stay with Where Are They Now Wednesday to know where these athletes are playing. They don't always stay where they go to right after high school. He spent his first 3 years at Loyola University in Chicago. John started fast and was named to the Missouri Valley Conference all-freshman team. This year, he started all 20 games, logging the second most minutes on the team. He scored 15 points with his 4 goals and 7 assists. He also converted on his 1 penalty kick attempt. And there's Nolan Schulte. He's a sophomore forward out of Whitfield. He's playing at Virginia Wesleyan University in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Nolan is Old Dominion Athletic Conference first team. Last year, as a freshman, he made 17 starts for the Marlins, scoring 5 goals. This year, he was placed on the conference first team as he started all 20 games. He scored 15 points with his 7 goals and an assist, and 2 of his goals were game winners. And Guy, I know you've been interviewing more coaches and players. Who have you talked to recently?
Well, I've had the great pleasure, over the past couple of weeks to visit with some of the best athletes and most successful athletes in the state of Missouri, whether it be Henry Acorn, a junior runner from Rockhurst High School in the Kansas City area who ran the second fastest time in the state cross country championships, second fastest time in 15 years, and only second by 0.3 seconds. And as he wins the state championship, had the opportunity to visit with the Fairgrove Lady Eagles volleyball team, all 7 members who were integral in their 41-0 finish and the state championship this year for the Lady Eagles. Parkway North running back Messiah Smith, Lutheran North running back Javon Blackman, who both set career record rushing marks for their high schools, as well as the coaches that we get to visit with on a Friday night, from Carl Odenwald there at Parkway North, and Kyle Wagner from Lutheran North. We had Bill Vorse on from Fairgrove. We had Mid-Buchanan head football coach Aaron Fritz on, Republic head football coach Ryan Cornelson on, as well as those teams are still playing. They're still alive in this year's in this year's football playoff system. So looking forward to tracking down some more coaches here over the next couple of days for high school game day on Friday, and then we'll do it all over Friday and Saturday here on the Missouri Sports Network.
Well, this is, and I know you've interviewed more coaches and players here in Missouri. No one has more than you have, and you have the ability to get great insight out of the coaches as they discuss their recent game and their team in general. It is also interesting to see our young athletes in interview mode. You bring out the best in them, and that is a great opportunity for these young men and women.
Yeah, and it's something I take pride in. And fortunately, I was fortunate enough. I worked for the Braves, the Pirates, and the Reds for 6 years, doing day schools, kind of around the country, where I got to meet, student athletes at these day schools. Some of them may have been 10 years old, all the way up to 18 years old, running tryouts. And then I spent 12 years, in the classroom, and then 4 years of special education before I even began this job. And it's kind of rewarding to see how they get more comfortable, especially, they've got opportunities right now. There's more than 4,000 interviews, probably more than that are available right now, where folks can go back and watch the interviews, and they're very similar in the questions, the topics, and things like that, so that the student athletes feel more comfortable. And I think that's important, especially as they head into college with the media exposure they're going to get at the college level with the NIL money. Not only are they going to be interviewed by the media, they're going to be interviewed by possible advertisers that are going to ask them similar questions about their game, about their responsibilities, their roles, what they feel like their strengths are, their weaknesses are, and that's going to mean dollars in their pocket with regards to NIL. So It's something that I take great pride in. It's something I'm very conscious of as well. And hey, face it, I'm old. It's been 30 years since I've been at the college level as a player and 20 years since I've been at the college level as a coach. So things have definitely changed, but I think we're kind of rolling with it here at the Missouri Sports Network. And I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy just getting to meet these people, kind of look them in the eye, so to speak, when you hear so much about them. You see so much media about them. So-and-so has got 3,400 yards rushing. Jax Glendenning at Lebanon High School, which is an hour and a half from me. I had never met Jax. He set the single season rushing record, the career rushing record, the career scoring record. I mean, he breaking all kinds of record held by some very good running backs to come out of Lebanon, and got to kind of sit down and look him in the eye. And then he won an award, and he made an appearance with his parents at the Springfield Area Quarterback Club this year. Got to actually meet his parents, shake his hand. Those things are rewarding when you get to do that. So I've enjoyed it. I feel like I'm getting better, and there's always more that I can learn.
Well, and there's one that I want to underline, and I might be catching you off guard. You may have mentioned this one, but this last week I remember one where you were interviewing a coach and a young lady. My recall is out of St. Pius and Festus, a volleyball player, over 3,000 assists, and she's not even done yet. She has her senior year coming up next year.
She does, and that's Elena Rubel, and
yes.
Her coach Shannon Leftridge kind of helped set this up with Elena. But very personable young lady, and very, very well spoken. And I think the coach may have been a little bit more nervous than she was during the interview. And I had never, visited with that coach previously. And another thing that I take great pride in, and I mention this to coaches all the time, because a lot of these coaches they're not familiar with me. They've never spoken to me. We've reached out to coaches from, there's 400 and whatever schools in Missouri. So there's not a way that I could interview every coach at every school. I've probably had at least one coach or one student athlete on from 80 to 85% of those schools, but I've not interviewed all the coaches. But I think the reputation of the Missouri Sports Network is that of such where they trust their student athletes with us. And I always send them a thank you. Hope they enjoyed it. Thank you so much for trusting your athlete that we were not going to embarrass not only your student athlete, but your school or your program or the sport or the integrity of what we do here at the Missouri Sports Network.
And as I age more and more, I appreciate more and more and enjoy more and more what our youth is doing. And it's great to highlight them. And another member of that youth in college is Christian Kraus. He's a senior forward. He's out of Rockwood Summit. He's now at Furman University. He's a Paladin, which is in the Southern Conference. Christian is Southern Conference first team. He started out his collegiate career with 2 years as a Gamecock at the University of South Carolina after being named the Missouri Gatorade Boys Soccer Player of the Year his senior year at Rockwood Summit. This year, Christian started all 17 games. He led his Paladins with 16 points with his 6 goals and 4 assists. He had a game-winning goal and was 2 for 2 with penalty kicks. Brandon Odell is a senior midfielder out of Northwest High in Cedar Hill. He is now at Fontbonne University, which is in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Brandon is St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference first team. He started 18 of the 19 games this year and recorded 6 points with his 2 goals and 2 assists. His overall play earned him first team conference honors in his senior year. There's Dominic Haggard. He's a senior goalkeeper out of Rockwood Summit. He is now at Fontbonne University, which is in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Dominic is St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference first team. Dominic was incredibly important to Fontbonne this year. You tend to be busy as a goalkeeper, especially when your team wins 5 games. The conference took notice and rewarded him with first team honors. He had goals against average of 2.82 and 2 shutouts. Jack Hughes is a sophomore defender. He's out of Lee Summit playing at Westminster College. That's in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Jack is St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference second team. In just his sophomore year, Jack has scored 2 goals in 17 starts, one of which was a game winner, and the conference honored him with second team status. Oscar Solis is a freshman midfielder out of Vianney. He's at Webster University, which is in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. And Oscar is the conference second team member. In just his first year, Oscar has surged forward to be recognized by his conference. He started all 17 matches, making 2 assists. Frank Homa is a freshman defender out of Vianney. He's at Webster University in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Frank is St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference second team. Just like his high school teammate, Oscar Solis, who I just highlighted, Frank is a freshman out of Vianney, performing highly for the Gorlocks. His 17 starts led to his team leading 1,407 minutes played. The Vianney connection is working well for Webster University. Ryan Schwenker is a junior defender out of Eureka High. He's at Fontbonne University, which is in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Ryan is St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference second team. He started all 16 games in which he played and was a mainstay in the Griffin back line. Luke Dillon is a junior goalkeeper. He's out of Fort Zumwalt South. He's playing at Webster University, which is in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Luke is the conference second team member. Luke wraps up the goalkeeping honors for Missouri athletes in that conference as he and Dominic Haggard, who I just mentioned, of Rockwood Summit, proved to be the top 2 goalkeepers. Luke started 16 games, getting 8 wins, 5 of which were shutouts. His .752 save percentage and low 1.67 goals against average kept his Gorlocks competitive all season. And Nicholas Olson is a senior forward out of Liberty High. He is at Westminster College in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Nicholas is St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference third team. The Blue Jays were led on offense this year by the Liberty grad. Nicholas had 12 points, coming from 5 goals and 2 assists. 60% of his shots were on goal, and half of those resulted in a Blue Jay score. Carter Yeomans is a junior forward at Fort Zumwalt West, from Fort Zumwalt West, and is now at Fontbonne University, which is in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Carter is his conference's third team member. The junior led his Griffins in points. He got those 13 points with 6 goals and 1 assist. A third of his goals were game winners. He also led his team with 3 of 4 penalty kicks. And there's Max Sarich. He's a junior defender out of Bishop Dubourg. He's at Fontbonne University, which is in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Max is St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference third team. Starting 18 of the 19 games, Max was third in scoring with 8 points. Those came from 3 goals and 2 assists. One of his goals was a game winner. So there you have it. The 26 Missouri athletes honored by their conferences by placement on their all-conference team, plus one being Offensive Player of the Year. There's a lot of good soccer that comes out of Missouri, both men's and women's. We will wrap up the women's postseason honors next week. To frame in the Missourian women's competing in the NCAA, there are 569 competing this year in women's soccer. That's right. There are 569 Missouri women competing in NCAA women's soccer, and they are good. Next week, will be the third week covering their postseason honors. Those ladies come from 235 of our high schools and fan out all over the country to 161 colleges and universities in 49 conferences. Be sure to tune in next week to see who all you know and who are the best in their collegiate conference.
Well, hey, there you have it. There you have it on Where They Now Wednesdays, episode 32, Dateline November the 20th, and we're a week and a day out of Thanksgiving. As we head into this, again, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart. Hey, and be here next Wednesday for Where Are They Now Wednesday on the Missouri Sports Network. Everybody have a great day.